It's the 5th birthday for Backroads BBQ, and you're invited today from 5 until 8 o'clock. On episode 191 of the Lebanon podcast, Chris and Kendall Canal recap the past 5 years and look ahead to the future. This dad-daughter duo also shares details on the upcoming Lebanon Leprechauns hoop season. Chris and Kendall are taking on increased roles and exciting things are in store. Episode 191 of the Lebanon podcast starts now.
Welcome to the Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to lebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 191 of the Lebanon podcast. I'm Joe LePage. I am the City of Lebanon Communications and Community Development Director. And full transparency, 100% honesty, everybody. I had leftover barbecue for lunch today, and there's a good reason for it. And two of the people who are here on the pod this time around are courtesy of them. We've got Backroads BBQ celebrating 5 years in existence here in Lebanon. We've got Chris and Kendall Canal here on the pod. Guys, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Joe. For having us.
Congrats on 5 years, and may get into and many more type thing in there as well. Kendall, I saw you out and about all over the community. How many stops have you made? And we're recording on Friday, going to air it on Tuesday. You guys are going to cut a ribbon, invite everybody over. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this week has been bonkers for you.
It has been crazy. So we did 6 different community stops. We did Heart of Lebanon. We did the Boone County Chamber of Commerce. We did the Boys and Girls Club Lebanon unit. We did the City of Lebanon.
You sure did.
Of course. Had to throw them in there. And then we also did the Farmers Bank Field House. Just 6 of our big community partners that helped us get to the point where we are today and helped us celebrate 5 years.
And how did this come about where you were going to go out and deliver the awesome meat and the mac and cheese and the green beans that we all fought over as we were getting served when it was our respective day to get that? How did you guys put your heads together, Chris, to be able to do this kind of effort to give back in this way on year 5?
If you know me very well, I wanted to have a second, third, fourth. Every year I was ready to do this, and they kept telling me it's not important enough.
We take it if you.
And I'm telling you, in business, 1 year is a lot. It's a celebration. No, but we'd been kind of looking at this for about a year and trying to figure out, being it's the 5 year, okay, now it's important enough to say something about it. At least we feel it is. And when we set out to create the restaurant, and I can remember being down in this office, looking for some opportunities and talking about what we could do. We knew we wanted to do something is to give back to the community. That's definitely at the top of the list of what we wanted to create. And so we went through and we identified some of those partners, especially early on. I know the Field House is something relatively new. That's been an asset that's been good for all restaurant businesses in town. But really, and Kendall rattled off the ones that we visited, and State Bank was also another one. And they were a partner that was leaning into the local businesses at the time. So it was an idea that came out of the restaurant and the marketing team. And I thought it was just a perfect fit. As we go out and we take cupcakes, courtesy of our friends over at the Boone County Cake Company. They're awesome.
Amazing.
And just do this little birthday celebration remotely that builds up to the event that's going to be, which would be this evening, Tuesday night at the restaurant.
And then, Kendall, what were the reactions did you get when you were dropping off the fantastic meats and cheeses for all of us along the way, those partners that your dad was talking about there?
Yeah, well, I can tell you nobody ever turns away food, and especially when they don't pay for it. So everybody was super excited, got great feedback from everybody, just really excited to help us celebrate 5 years. Meant a lot to us, obviously, and just showing our appreciation for the people who helped us get to where we are today.
Mm-hmm. And Chris, you hit the Wayback Machine a little bit and talked about coming in here. And I remember our first interaction of looking for a space and having this idea and being a Lebanon guy and wanting to have a brick and mortar here, to be honest, and serve food. If you can kind of look back 5 years, did you ever think we would get to here where things have grown? And we're going to talk about those growth plans in a little bit. But
I think we stay busy enough that rarely do you look up and think about what 5 years from now is going to look like. But yeah, I can remember I've been in the community almost 10 years. I've kind of grew up around the food business. Our main business that we have now, our family business, we're in food distribution. So a restaurant is a way the two things about a restaurant I know for sure. Number one is it's not a business you get into to get rich quick. I mean, it is a lot of hard work. It has to be a labor of love. You have to have a passion to do it. The second thing that I know about restaurants is it's the quickest way to get to know the community. And so, when we started with the idea, our distribution company, we service lots of barbecue restaurants around Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio. So we were really equipped to provide, what barbecue restaurants need. And then it was just a matter of when we found the space. Andrew Gutwein had that building at the time. Michelle and Don at the barn were in there, and they were kind of transitioning out, and so it just created a nice little vibe for a barbecue restaurant. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Mike Hiblin and Sean Sublett at the beginning. I met them through my relationship over at Rick's Boatyard and put together a great menu, great concept. Out of that, we were able to create the 1830 Chop House. Sean did an outstanding job with that menu. He was in position that he, wanted to own that. And so, we decided that, Sean went on and took on the Chop House, done a great job with that team. We've carried on the tradition at Backroads, and you look back and, 5 years ago, I remember being in Mayor Gentry's office and we were talking, and he really wanted a steakhouse at the time. But I think the community didn't have a lot of sit-down restaurants and a lot of fast food restaurants, all great restaurants. And so we knew there was going to be growth in the community. I don't think anybody realized what it was going to look like, but, just again, putting those assets in place so that the community would have those amenities.
And pretty pleased with the results so far, 5 years in?
Yeah, I mean, we can get into kind of, the COVID years, and one of our big partners, the Boys and Girls Club, we always get a kick out of the kind of talking about that period of time. But it succeeded. I remember we looked at the space and we thought what we could do, and thanks to the community and just the way that people have gravitated to it, it's probably exceeded what we ever thought it could do.
Gotcha. And so, Kendall, you see Dad starting this business and getting it going. When did it jump on your radar or something? Did he reach out to you and say, hey, need some help? Are you interested? Did you say, Dad, this looks kind of awesome, or a labor of love, I want to get involved? How did this whole partnership happen with dad and daughter joining forces in this way?
Yeah. So I was actually going to Ball State in Muncie at the time, my sophomore year there. Switched my major about 5 times, I think, just really didn't know what I wanted to do. And obviously the family business was always in the back of my mind. I had worked at Backroads the first year they opened as a carry-out girl, kind of just threw my breaks in school. But then I knew I loved talking to people. I knew I had a niche for organization. So I thought, let's try the restaurant business. I remember calling the GM at the time and saying, hey, can I come back and start serving? And she said yes, and one thing led to another, from server to bartender to shift lead and to the GM. So in May of 22, I became the GM of Backroads at 21 years old. It's definitely very interesting. I learned everything I know from that restaurant, so it obviously has a very special place in my heart and always will. But yeah, I always figured I would be at the family business at some point. Just didn't know in what way, and found that I loved catering more so than I loved the restaurant business. Just getting out in the community, obviously, talking to people, networking, making connections, and making these huge events a success was really what I love to do. So luckily we were able to, from my knowledge at Backroads and being the GM there for about 9 months, we were able to launch Brick Street Catering this last summer. So I can kind of take off and do some more upscale off-menu catering. And then obviously always going to be doing the Backroads catering as well. That's where I started.
Gotcha. And Chris, was this kind of an organic thing, bringing Kendall on to work there and being affiliated and in Backroads, and then having this kind of organically happen and evolve into catering? What's happening now?
I think obviously, when you have you're looking for people that want to work, that want to jump in. We've been very fortunate in all of our businesses. We've had great staff and great people. At Backroads, we have some of the same staff. I mean, our kitchen staff, we have staff that was there the day we opened, and completely grateful for that. But I think it really comes to Boone County, the community, the way that they've taken to some of these things we've done, in with the growth. That there's an opportunity for anybody. Kendall obviously I know how she's wired, and both for the good part and the bad part, we know each other well.
We're more alike than we like to
But
admit.
at the end of the day, it's taking care of customers. It's it's building those relationships. And so, yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity that she's taken advantage of, and it's exciting to see where it's going to go.
And if we can kind of talk about that a little bit, what are the future plans? We'll get some experiences from the 5 years previous, but looking forward, Kendall, you try to see about the growth of the catering business and being able to do that both at Backroads and then, as you mentioned, kind of off the menu as well. Growth plans for the next 5 years? You guys are forecasting that out a bit at all at this point?
Yeah, I mean, with Brook Street Catering, we just launched in July, so we're very, very new. We're still getting our name out there, and obviously with being a part of the chamber, the Boone County Chamber, the Zionsville Chamber, it's a lot easier to get our name out there and get those customers. So with Brook Street Catering, we're kind of still we're trying to perfect what we want to do and just see what fits. Right now, we really like more so the corporate events, chamber meetings, business meetings, more so than weddings. We love weddings, but obviously all of our connections are more so in Boone County within the community and within the business side of it. So future plans for Brook Street is to just see where it takes us right now and just go with the growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Backroads BBQ celebrating 5 years, everybody. Later on today from 5 until 8, you can go and help them cut the ribbon and go and help them celebrate 5 years in existence and just be able to be there and experience it all. 5 years in our community. We're talking with Chris and Kendall Canal here in episode 191 of the Love in Lebanon podcast. Now, Chris, you've probably seen it all over the several years that you've been in the food service business and everything in between. Kendall talking about kind of growing up in the Backroads family and kind of those experiences. Experiences in the last 5 years, guys, at Backroads, anything that sticks out, a big event or something that happened along the way that was one of those core memories that may have sticks in your mind?
Yeah, I think that the Backroads story, you can't tell it if you don't talk about our partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, and as we were kind of entering into that period of time that we all know is the COVID period of time, Katie Reasoner reached out and said, "Hey, we're going to be giving away meals at the club, and would you guys participate?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, would you pick out a day?" And I said, "We'll do Tuesday." And I think they were doing 150 meals. And so we had chicken, smoked chicken, pork. I forget what we were doing. And we did it a couple weeks. And then it was like, nobody knew how long it was going to last. And to make a very long story short, we did it for, I think, about a year. Every Tuesday. It got up to the point, I think they might have got up to 300 meals. Katie and that group would have to fact check that one. But, it really, it showed us like we just didn't know where it was going to go, but we knew it was good. We knew it was right. We gave a lot of food away, but we got back probably threefold what we gave. And so I don't think, we wouldn't have been the same if we wouldn't have done that. And so we're very grateful for the opportunity to partner with the Boys and Girls Club and to give away the food. And hopefully, there's a lot of people in the community that look back on that. And it was not a fun time by any means, but could at least say, wow, that was really cool. And so that to me is probably the biggest thing through the years. Talk about the future. I do want to say, that, Backroads and our organization has really been involved in an organization like the Boone County Chamber. We've been part of creating a culinary collective. And I think the next 5 years is really wanting to assist in all the food related businesses in Boone County and really pulling together. A rising tide floats all boats. I think there's going to be a lot of growth, and it's just exciting, I think, to see what maybe Lebanon and Boone County, what the food landscape looks like. I think there's going to be a lot of new businesses pop up. I think there's one opening today on the north side, a restaurant. And so just being part of it is probably enough, at least for me, is just watching all the businesses grow and just being part of that growth.
So for your dad, it's kind of a COVID-related, kind of a bittersweet, a blessing in a horrible situation and a time that we will always mark those of us that were around for it. Kendall, for you, are there experiences that kind of stick out to you as ones that are memorable along the way?
Yeah, I would agree with him with just anytime we get to donate food, anytime we get to go out and help people in our community, dropping off, like he said, the Boys and Girls Club, we do their Christmas dinner every year. So getting to donate that and getting to just help people in that way is a privilege. It's a great feeling to be able to feed people and just feel that. And then I would say my partners over at Coke Consolidated, Nancy over there, she was my first catering order I ever took when I became the GM, and I still do about one a week for her. They've been extremely good to us. We wouldn't be where we are today without Coke Consolidated and all of their orders and working with me and Backroads as we kind of got on our feet with the catering, because we're still pretty new. We have a couple years under our belt, but 5 years in the restaurant business is nothing if you ask anybody in the restaurant business. So
a slow process. Now you mentioned the fans that you have for the catering business. Do you get those families that come in, the Johnsons or the Smiths that come in every week? Do you have your regulars, and how good does it make you feel if you do and they come in and see you guys on a regular basis?
We do have a lot of regulars. I'm not in the restaurant as much as I was, but every time I'm in there for lunch, I see the same groups. Obviously, we're really heavy construction because barbecue. Everybody likes to have a barbecue and a beer. So we have all the people over at Floor, the Berkeleys. They're always in there, and we love seeing them. And they've definitely helped us get to where we are too.
I think one of the things that's interesting is we actually have some regulars that live in places like Wisconsin, some folks in Georgia, that are traveling I-65, and through the years they've found that we're one of those beacons that they stop at, and it is, you kind of knew it would happen, but when it's actually happening, it's a pretty cool thing. So I think that's something interesting too, that you see the regulars that might live out of state, but they come and stop and visit Lebanon every time they get a chance.
Oh man,
it was like Eclipse Day. There was not one Indiana license plate. That's
a
very big.
Yes,
we had people in gravity chairs in the parking lot. Nobody could drive through. It was insane, but that was definitely a good day. I think it was a good day for Boone County in general. All the businesses, the ones that I talked to, hit record numbers that day. So that was obviously great for us too.
That day we won't forget anytime soon.
Joe was right. Yep. Joe was on the planning committee, and he called it. It was a heck of a day.
It was bonkers. And kudos to Allison and Discover Boone County for leading the charge there, man. That got us all in line, and we had a great day, that Eclipse Day. That was in the past, and we'll celebrate 1 year and dedicate our time capsule and all those things. Looking forward to the future, though, and if you go out to the field house, you mentioned the drop-off there, and you mentioned how relatively new the field house still is and how they're helping to raise the tides of a lot of local restaurants, ones in our area as well. There's a team that played last season, a semi-pro basketball league team. I remember being at the games and looking across and seeing you there, Chris. The Lebanon Leprechauns, they're back this year, and you're becoming more affiliated with the team and taking more of a role with that program and that team. How did this all happen, and how excited are you to be part of the Leprechaun family?
Sure. Yeah. The team, I believe, heading into the fourth year, so it's been around for 3 seasons. Hard to believe. First couple of years played at the high school. Mm-hmm. Last year moved up to the field house, and that was one of those pieces as the field house was in development to have a professional basketball team play. The Preston Myers brought the team to town. I've known Preston, kind of had some conversations. There was a little bit of talk about the team possibly not being in existence here in Lebanon, maybe moving. I just got with Preston in the offseason and talked about some of the dynamics. So at the end of the day, the team market was going to be available. So, we worked with the league and got that deal all taken care of. So 2025, kind of hard to say, 2025 Lebanon Leprechaun season, it's set. The schedule should be coming out soon. Home games will be at the field house. We're going to do some things. If you've never been to a game, first of all, if you've never been to a game, there's 2 things going on. There's basketball, and then there's everything else. The everything else is something to see, and to add it to that, we're going to have a little bit more food and beverage opportunities for people. We're going to have a VIP area, just kind of add some bells and whistles for everybody. But in general, it's been a great experience. If you've ever been to a game, it's a lot of fun. I'm sitting across the table here from the official PA, the voice of the on-court voice, I guess, if you will. But there's a lot going on, so we're super excited about it.
And what was it about that team? You were a fan of basketball and wanting to take part and watch high-level basketball. What was it about this team and this opportunity that presented itself that made you jump and take part in it?
Well, first of all, the number one thing is I enjoyed it. I believe it's a community asset. I mean, even if you're not a huge basketball fan, it's great value for the entertainment dollar. And to my knowledge, and I don't know, I haven't really researched this, but I think it might be the only professional team in Boone County. And with all the things going on, Missy at the Heart of Lebanon, their Alley Oop project. I mean, I came into the office here today, and we have the display there that talks about Rick, and his contribution to basketball. And it's not just the state, but just, nationally he's known. I mean, Lebanon is known for basketball, and with all the growth going on in the community, I just felt like we need to keep this team here and keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. And you talked about improving the experience and the food options, things like that. Kendall, would that mean you're involved a little bit in that process as well? Is Dad roping you in again?
Yes, roping me into another project. Yes, so the VIP section that he had talked about, so we will have a VIP section by Brick Street Catering. So just a grazing table, some hors d'oeuvres. And
grazing table.
Yes.
I've never heard that, but I love that.
Grazing
Here we go.
table, yes. And drinks, alcoholic drinks there. Obviously no lines if you pay VIP. And then Backroads will have a table set up to the general public. So we'll be selling pulled pork sandwiches, brisket sandwiches, some nachos, a bunch of different menu items. We'll be switching it up for every different game. So super excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think, and hats off to the Field House, Mason, Andy Card, that group is, they see the value they see the value for the facility, but they also see the value to the community. And so, Patrick Clues has a nice presence out there, and he has for years. He's going to continue. So really just pulling all the partners a little bit closer together, but really making sure that we provide not only value to the fans, but really a lot of the sponsors. And I was always a sponsor, and I really want, as a sponsor, I just want to make sure that I'm getting value. And so these are all the things that we're trying to put together. And so we go out and talk to the community, people that have sponsored in the past and people that haven't, just making sure that there's ways that everybody can plug in. And Joe, this volunteer group with the team, it's like none other. We wouldn't have done this if it weren't for that. There's 20 to 30 people that are putting a lot of time and effort to put in a really great game day experience. And so again, I feel like my duty is to help facilitate and to pull these things together. But it's going to be exciting. And the quality of basketball, if people that are basketball fans, we have folks on the court that, we're on TV not more than a few years ago, and so that's probably a whole nother episode.
And people don't maybe realize is a lot of these guys are chasing dreams, and some have they tout the ones that make it to the NBA. Yeah. It's rare, but it has happened more than once where they're trying to play and they go in the TBL and then they go overseas, or they're picked up by the NBDL and then they're on with the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think is one, and Golden State Warriors, and there was something going on there, but they're chasing a dream. And
the real quick, and again, it could be a whole nother episode, is Lindy Waters with Golden State. He's in the rotation. I mean, he's checking in for Steph Curry, and he's playing every day. And there's a young man that's playing with the Lakers, and I just saw a highlight yesterday or the day before, I think, and Bronny James off a little screen threw a lob pass to him. And these are guys that are playing in the TBL like a year ago. And so the quality of people, again, I think people will be surprised if they haven't been to a game. Number one, the game day experience, like, wow, there's a lot going on. And
Corey will be back this year. Corey will be back this year.
Some of the fan favorites. And also I want to say just real quickly, and I think, again, would love to come in and talk more about it, is the Emerald Spirit dance team and what Emily's done, Emily Roach has done with that team. And this is to no disrespect to the basketball players, and this isn't really a joke. I mean, the team, we've had some nice teams. The dance team was named the dance team of the entire TBL last year. That's with almost 50 teams across the country. I know that I believe there's 2 young ladies that are with the Colts this year, and I know that there's at least
one with the Pacers, right?
One, I think we have one with the Pacers.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
And so just like the players are trying to, work their way up, I think, there's other people. And I didn't realize this, statisticians. I mean, there's a lot that goes
The
into
officials
it.
too. They're chasing a dream as well.
Absolutely. And the TBL was tapped. I know the SEC has hired some statisticians out of the TBL to service some of their tournaments and stuff. So it's a real professional basketball organization, and I think the community should be proud of it. And if you haven't checked it out, it's something to see.
Some of us trying to get some mic skills on the next level too. Never know about stuff like that. So you guys are inviting folks out to Leprechauns, and we have had past players come on our podcast. Yeah. Turbo was a couple years back. Trayshawn Goss was awesome with us here on the pod, and so we look forward to doing that when the roster's set. And you mentioned tryouts and things. Can you guys kind of set the stage as we kind of round the final corner here, Kendall? What are you hoping that people experience? Your dad kind of talked about Leprechauns experiences, and you guys are increasing the experience there. What are you wanting people to experience when they come by Backroads today at the airing of this podcast from 5 until 8, coming and seeing you guys?
Yeah, so today we are going to have a huge birthday party for Backroads. It's been 5 years. We have to celebrate it. Steve Trent Music will be there from 5 to 8 playing live music. We're going to have free cake, free ice cream, drink specials, food specials, decorations, photo booth. So it'll be a super fun time. We're hoping everybody comes out, bring the whole family, bring the kids out. We'll have activities for everybody, giveaways, gift cards, gift baskets. So
a lot of gifts.
Yeah, lots of gifts. If you come, you're going to get something for free. I can tell you that. At least cake and ice cream.
And the guy sitting to your left want to do this every year?
He wants to do it every year. For 1 year, I remember the 1 year was COVID, the 1 year anniversary. So you guys did a drive-through,
we did.
pulled pork drive-through.
We gave away 100 sandwiches that day.
Yes.
I remember because I handed them out. That was a lot of fun. No, I think it's just a celebration of the community. And you can get the theme is, any business in town is only going to be as good as, the community and the support the community. And so we try our best to put something together. We don't always, sometimes fall short. There's always mistakes, but I promise you the businesses around Boone County, everyone's trying. We're working really hard, and it's just fun to see that resonate in the community. And it's just a chance to give back. And to your point, in 10 years, we'll do it again, I guess. Or 5 years.
Or maybe for 6 years. We'll be back next year.
We'll see. And may have to have you on the pod once again. Well, Chris, Kendall, thank you for being here on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
First one, would love to have you back. And thanks, everybody. Once again, later on today, 5 to 8 at Backroads. State Road 32, they're right off the interstate. Come by and see them. Say, hey, happy birthday, and get some cake, ice cream, all those things. And thank you for listening to this episode of the Love in Lebanon podcast. More episodes coming your way soon. Take care.